Well, hello and welcome, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. Well, you know what? It's a good day in America for some, and others are worried about their future. For many around the world, emotions are running high. Maybe yours are. Listen, today on the show, I have best-selling author of The Emotional Code, Dr. Bradley Nelson, to discuss how to master your emotions. And I also got a guy on the show. He's 78 years old with the fitness level of 35. He's going to be discussing how to stay young virtually forever. And I've got such an amazing show, but I do have a question for you right now. Is your future secure? Do you wonder what your future holds? Well, listen, I'm going to tell you about how to have a really bright and thriving future right when we get back from the break.
Hi, Ken D. Foster here. If you have a dream to create a wellness product, I'd like to tell you about JBK Wellness Labs. They are a respected contract and white label manufacturer who helps entrepreneurs and companies develop and bring to market dietary supplements, hemp-based CBD products, plus personal care and beauty product lines. JBK Wellness products can be found on the shelves of Neiman Marcus, Whole Foods, Urban Outfitters, CVS, Ritz-Carlton Hotels, Four Seasons Hotels, and multinational direct selling companies. JBK Wellness Labs will walk you through each step from concept through finished product. If you'd like to take your next step in getting your product to market, then start your project today by going to jbkwellnesslabs.com or just Google JBK Wellness Labs.
Hey, well, welcome back. Ken D. Foster here. Our show today is called The Courage to Overcome Emotional Baggage. So why do I say your future is bright? Well, I want to tell you this. Your future is bright because your thinking is a reflection of your world. Wouldn't you agree? You probably heard this a million times, but it's right? Everybody knows that. Your thinking, how you think, will determine what happens in your world. So the question is, how do you change your thinking if you're not having the world that you want? Now, listen, there's a lot of things that you have control of, but there's a lot of things you don't have control of. And a lot of people focus their attention, their emotions, their whole life on a lot of things that they can't control. Right now, we're going through an election process. I know there's a whole bunch of you out there that are upset. You're worried, you're concerned, you're thinking half the country's thinking their future is dim and dismal, and the other half is thinking they're excited and what have you. I have a feeling it's somewhere in between for both everybody, right? A lot of you are going to get a little bit more of what you want. Maybe you'll get a little less of what you want, but eventually everything will change. Everything will be okay. Now, the mindset that I have, and I want you to have, is that you're going to thrive, you're going to prosper, you're going to have an incredible experience over the next several years. And you can do that if you're willing to really look at your beliefs, choices, and actions. Listen, I've spent 26 years working with hundreds, actually thousands and thousands of individuals, helping them to really look at what's working in their lives, what's not working in their lives. But that always starts with what they're thinking and what they're predominantly focusing on. So it's their thinking, but that begets your emotions, right? What you feel, what you focus on, you feel. Everybody knows that now, right? But a lot of times you don't realize what you feel will determine your actions. And your actions are over your results, and results are over your destiny. So if you want to change how things are showing up, you want to have a better life, I'd say you got to change some of those programmed thoughts, programmed thought habits or thought viruses in your mind is what I would call them, to a positive way of looking at life. Now, it's easier said than done, as most of you know. So for me, I'll tell you, I've used this not only in my coaching practice of people over the years, but also my own life. I've used my life to transform just about every negative habit that I've ever had. So I'm not perfect, but I'm sure come a long way. And you can come a long way too. And, what does a long way mean? Well, I have incredible joy, great friendships. I've been married 20 years for an amazing wife. I've got my beautiful relationship with my daughters and my grandkids and everybody in my life. Right. I've got wealth, I've got money, I've got security, I've got a lot going on. It didn't start that way, but you can have that too if you want any of those things. You want more peace, joy, and happiness in your life. And I wrote a book. It's called The Courage to Change Everything. It's daily strategies and essential wisdom to awaken your inner genius. Now, why did I write that book? Well, I wrote that book because I want you to be able to have the mindset that I have, to be able to change up your thinking. So imagine if every day you just took 10 minutes a day and really assessed your thinking and assessed your actions too. What's working, what's not. Well, that's what that book is about. So I want you to think about this. Save the date, December 5th. I have a conference where I'm going to help you to connect with some amazing people, collaborate with them, and also to change, right? The book is all about change, and the time of change is coming. So I hope you'll join me December 5th. You can find out more about that on couragetochange.us. Again, that's couragetochange.us. All right, listen, I'd like to introduce my first guest. My first guest is, his name is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's the author of the best-selling book, The Emotional Code. In the book, it explains how to identify and release trapped emotions that block us from wellness. And there's a new edition, the Emotional Code. It came out a little while back, but I'd like you to go get that book. That book will change how you look at your emotions. So Dr. Brad was raised in rural Montana and practically grew up on back of a horse, which I love that. As a child, he suffered 2 life-threatening illnesses, both of which were healed, not by traditional Western medicine, but by separate alternative methods that helped him to tap into that inner source of power and energy that lies within all of us. Dr. Brad, I'd like to welcome you to the show. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good. Wow. All right. Emotional code. Well, we got this election that's still pending here in America. Like I said, a lot of people are probably upset. Half of them are upset. Half of them are happy, Yeah. And maybe a whole bunch are depressed. I don't know, but I know it's going on out there.
I'd say that's probably right. I'm sure that a lot of emotional baggage is going to be created by this election, whichever way it goes. And I think that's probably the case to some degree with every election, not to mention, the relationships that you go through that break up, and the times when you used to cry yourself to sleep at night when you were a kid, and the times when you were bullied maybe, or when you had to listen to your parents argue. And so these emotional events that we go through, we like to think that once we've experienced those intense emotions and the event is in the past, that we've moved on. But the reality of it is, a lot of the time we end up with what you can call emotional baggage, which is literally some of the energy of those emotional experiences that stays with us and affects our bodies and diminishes our ability to really manifest total health and wealth and love in our lives.
Well, there's traditional ways that people have healed their emotions over the years. Talk therapy. A lot of people take medications and things like that. But I know that you've got different ways to do that. So let's talk about what's new in the book, what's new in the world of energy healing.
Well, it's a deep rabbit hole, but let me explain first of all, how this came about. When I got into practice, I worked with a guy who was another doctor, a brilliant healer by the name of Dr. Stan Flagg up in Montana, where I'm from. And I learned some really profound things from him about working with the energy in the body. And basically, if you look at your hand, for example, your hand looks pretty solid. And if you were to magnify that hand, 100 times, it wouldn't look like your hand anymore. You might be looking at the individual cells that make up the hand. And if you were to continue to zoom in with a big microscope on that hand, at about 1,000,000 power magnification, you might see that actually your hand is full of lots of empty space. It's mostly empty space, and you'll see lots of little energies zipping around in there at the speed of light. And that's really what we are. We're beings of energy. In fact, some quantum physicists recently figured out that you could take all 7.8 billion people on Earth and put all of us into a little box about the size of a sugar cube if you could just take all the space out of every single person's body. Crazy, right?
That's crazy, but I'm really interested in where you're going with that and how that works. How once we understand some of these principles, how we can pretty quickly move past these emotions. I got to take a break right now. When we come back, I'll be asking you those questions.
Okay.
There comes a time when you know you need to restart and regain control of your life. A time to seek freedom from the anxiety, addiction, and other issues that may be bringing you down. A time to heal and re-emerge as the real you. Villa Kalima is a holistic residential recovery program exclusively for women for individualized treatment. Villa Kalima offers proven clinical and holistic therapies for the mind, body, and spirit to assure sustainable recovery. Villa Kalima focuses on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. It's the only way to truly recover and find yourself again. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful, resort-like setting and is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center accepting a variety of health insurances. Start your healing and renewal today by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa, California at 760-814-8214. 760-814-8214. Villa Kalima, a place for transformation.
I'm a diabetic. I need to maintain healthy glucose levels so I can live normally and still enjoy my day-to-day life. Curelin is a 100% natural supplement that helps me do exactly that. Curelin promotes healthy glucose levels, energy, sleep, and proper body function. I try to make the right choices, but Curelin keeps me controlled even if I indulge in a naughty treat here and there. It's how I plan to stick around for my family.
Get $20 off Curelin. Visit curalife.com and use coupon code COURAGE.
Oh, welcome back to the show. Today, I'm interviewing Dr. Brad Nelson. He wrote a book called The Emotion Code, and we're talking about taking a little deeper dive into your emotion code and how this understanding of quantum physics applies to emotional healing. Dr. Brad, can you make that link for us?
Well, absolutely. So if you think about your body is energy. Everything is energy. The chair you're sitting on, the desk you're sitting at, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything is nothing but pure energy, really, when you get right down to that quantum level. Now, they found that thoughts are also energy, of course. Electricity is energy. Emotions are also a form of energy. So when you're feeling a particular emotion, like anger or resentment or grief or sadness or sorrow, what's going on a quantum level in your body is that your body is vibrating now at this particular frequency of whatever that emotion is. Every emotion has its own particular frequency. And so anger is different from sadness, and that's different from frustration. They're all different. When you're feeling an emotion powerfully enough, if you're really angry or you're really depressed or you're really frustrated or whatever emotion you're feeling is very strong, sometimes the energy of that emotion can become trapped in the body. And a trapped emotion is a ball of energy, we found, from about the size of a baseball to about the size of a small melon. And these energies can lodge anywhere in the body. It took a long time to figure this out, Ken, because these energies are totally invisible. You can't see them.
Okay. So how do we know they're there if I can't see, taste, touch, or feel them? How do I know they're there?
That's a great question. How do you know they're there? Well, what you have to do is you have to tap into the subconscious mind. Now, we all have a conscious mind, which is where we spend all of our waking hours. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, is that part of our mind that is not accessible generally from the conscious mind, but that's the part of us that's running our bodies, keeping air moving in and out of our lungs, creating 3 million new red blood cells every minute, and so on. That part of you is so intelligent that it can take a ham sandwich that you have for lunch and it can turn that into new cardiac muscle cells and so on. It's an order of intelligence beyond our ability to really comprehend. Well, we found how to tap into that. And we use some very simple methods to actually access that information. What we have found is that the subconscious mind is very, very willing to give up its answers. And it knows with a perfect understanding what's actually wrong with you. And one of the first examples of this I saw was a woman that came into me probably 30 years ago now, who was suffering from what she thought was a heart attack. She had crushing chest pain, difficulty breathing, left arm totally numb, left side of her face was totally numb. I told my staff we might need an ambulance. Luckily, we were close to a medical center. I started doing some testing on her, though. Very quickly found that she had a trapped emotion of grief. Her subconscious mind came back with an answer through muscle testing, is how we get these answers. And it said that this had occurred 3 years before. And when she found that out, when I got to that, she burst into tears and said, I can't believe that's affecting me. I thought I dealt with all that. And I said, what happened to you? She said 3 years before her husband had had an affair and had been having an affair. She found out about it and confronted him. The marriage blew up. And she got divorced, spent a year in therapy trying to deal with the aftermath, and had recently gotten remarried. Thought it was all behind her. When I released that emotion, that feeling came back into her arm and into her face that fast. The chest pain was gone. Difficulty breathing is gone.
That's amazing. Was she conscious or aware that she was having these pains and all this stuff? Because a lot of times I think, it's like taking a dark pair of sunglasses off. All of a sudden you see things differently when you release these emotions, and people aren't aware of that. So what are some of the symptoms that people might look at that they're getting certain results or not getting certain results? And it's really emotionally related. Can you give us some idea around that?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, what trapped emotions do is they distort the normal energy field of the body. And when you distort the energy field of the body, you're distorting the body itself ultimately. And so what we find is that physical pain is a major byproduct of emotional baggage. In fact, 90% of the physical pain that people have is actually due to their emotional baggage. And if you read the emotion code book and you start using it a little bit, it's easy to learn and use. You'll realize that this is true. It's an unbelievable thing, and that's an incredible statement, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely true. Plus, trapped emotions are an underlying cause of every disease process that we've seen now in 32 years. Cancer always has an emotional component. Infertility, asthma, digestive disorders, arthritic disorders, autoimmune disorders, all of these things. Plus, emotional baggage like this is the biggest underlying cause of things like depression, anxiety, phobias, panic attacks, PTSD, eating disorders, self-sabotage of all kinds. So it really is a worse epidemic than the coronavirus. It really is, because it's causing so much distortion in people's lives, so many physical symptoms, but it's also derailing people so that they're much more challenged as far as creating the life that they really want.
That's really good. Well, listen, I'm going to have to take a break in a second, but before I do, I know you have a gift for people that are listening on the show. I'm thinking, do I give it now or do we give it the next segment? Why don't we do this? Well, we'll take a break and then we'll come back and we'll tell them about that gift. Okay. And then I'm going to take a little deeper dive into some of these physical symptoms that are related to emotional stress, holding on to those emotions. So we'll be right back.
Are you out to make a difference? Do you need results? Wasabi Publicity is the perfect PR team to help you take your message to the next level. Recognized by PR Week and Good Morning America for innovative practices, Wasabi works with authors, speakers, and organizations committed to doing good in the world. Wasabi believes conversations change the world. Stories you share shape how you think, feel, act, and how you experience life. Ask yourself if your website, social media, and PR coverage reflect the stories you wish to share in the world. Are you making the difference you want to make? Do you have the results you wish to have? Kendi Foster, Voices of Courage radio show host, says Wasabi is the best in the business, period. Schedule a complimentary PR consultation with Wasabi CEO Drew Gerber at publicityresults.com.
Today, women in business are helping each other prosper like never before by overcoming stereotypes, networking together, and sharing essential resources. Since 1991, Women's Wisdom, the premier business networking organization for purpose-driven, soul-inspired entrepreneurs, has helped women grow their businesses and become the best version of themselves. Women's Wisdom hosts online events with celebrity speakers, best-selling authors, and business experts dedicated to helping you, the small business owner, expand your possibilities, build new relationships, and get the right referrals. Take your business to the next level and join Women's Wisdom at womenswisdom.net. That's womenswisdom.net.
Well, welcome back. I'm your host, Kendi Foster, and our show today is called The Courage to Overcome Emotional Baggage, which I hope all of you are willing to do because your life will get better if you do. I want to thank some people right now. First of all, I'd like to thank my sound engineer today, James Case. He's doing a great job for us. Thank you so much, James. I also want to thank my team every week does such an amazing job of getting this show out into the 250 plus stations that we're on, the 14 networks on AM, FM, and podcast, and on TV all over the world right now. I think we're on 5 or so TV broadcast networks now, so that's great. So thank you, everybody. I also want to thank my guests and all of my viewers, because you're the ones that make this show possible, right? You're the ones that spread it around the world. So thank you so much for letting your family and friends and associates know about the show. All the replays, by the way, are available at voicesofcourage.us. And you can also join our Insiders Club at voicesofcourage.us. You'll get some of the back end talks I do with some of the guests that I dive deeper into their psyche to help you understand the wisdom, the success principles that some of these people have generating or running around their minds, so you know how to take your life to the next level. So anyway, again, thank you for tuning in. All right, I'd like to reintroduce my guest. His name is Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he has a book out. It's called, it's right here. It's called The Emotion Code. And that book has sold, 175,000 plus copies. It continues to sell copies. All right. Why are people buying that book? I got a feeling it's because they're learning how to release their emotions pretty quickly. What say you about that?
Well, absolutely. What we often say, unknowingly, we often use a phrase, especially when we're referring to somebody else. We'll say things like, she has a lot of emotional baggage, or he's got a lot of emotional baggage from his divorce, or whatever. The reality of it is we all have emotional baggage. What we haven't realized is what this baggage is actually doing to us, and how it's interfering with our ability to really manifest the perfect life that we're capable of manifesting. You can think of it this way. It's almost like you can imagine that everybody that you know is dragging these suitcases behind them that are full of rocks. The rocks are their emotional baggage, and they wonder why it's so hard to really pick up the pace in their life, or why it's so hard, why it takes so much energy to create the life that they want, to find the love that they want, to find their soulmate, to create abundance, to really be healthy or regain their health. And emotional baggage is that it's those emotional energies that stay with us after those events that we experience that we would rather not have experienced. So we've all been through things like that. The emotion code is just a way to cut loose that emotional baggage from yourself so that you can start to feel lighter and feel better, feel healthier, and so that your life can start to manifest like it's supposed to. I'll tell you something, Ken, it's an amazing thing. When you step out, when you clear enough of this emotional baggage away, it's almost like stepping out of this old suit you've been wearing into this new person that is much closer to who you really are supposed to be. And that's a powerful thing.
Well, I think a lot of people, it reminds me of a little kid I met. His name was Alex. He was 5 years old. I asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he looked at me and he said, I just want to be me, right? I think a lot of people just want to be me, whatever me is. But it's hard to get to be that place of joy and happiness and power within ourselves unless we do clear out those emotions. So I guess I want to ask you, what illnesses are, well, before I go into illnesses, I promised my audience I'd let them know about your gift. Let's do that real quick. And then I'll ask you about the illnesses.
Yeah, absolutely. People can go to emotioncodegift.com. And they can download the first couple of chapters of the book on audio and also as a PDF so they can read it or listen to it if they want to, and start learning about their own emotional baggage. And if they like the first couple of chapters, then of course it's available at all the bookstores and on Amazon and everywhere else.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. That's a great gift for the audience. I appreciate it. So what illnesses are most likely to be caused or maybe exacerbated by holding on these trapped emotions? Is grief from the past or anger or resentment or misunderstanding, that stuff that we hold in ourselves?
Well, the fascinating thing is over the last 32 years as a holistic physician, every disease process that I've seen, every person that I've worked with, and the other doctors who are working around the world with us, we've got 6,500 certified practitioners in 80 countries. We're all finding the same thing, that emotional baggage is a very significant piece of the puzzle of a person's illness. And so if you're dealing with some kind of an illness right now, I can pretty much guarantee you that part of that illness is manifesting because of that emotional baggage. And it might be from something that you went through as a child that you might not even remember, or it could be from your divorce or when you were bullied as a child or whatever you've been through. That emotional energy then can tend to manifest. And so really it's any and all diseases, physical diseases, but even more than that, it's trapped emotions interfere with your own ability to feel appropriate emotion.
I have a question. Why don't more people know about this? I mean, there's so much disease out there, and people are worried about coronaviruses and everything else, which I think some people need to be, but a lot of people are probably might be able to release some of their negativity and be able to heal themselves. And
people absolutely can. And that's the breakthrough with the emotion code, is that anybody can actually do this. You can learn to do this yourself. You can go to our website at discoverhealing.com. You can find a practitioner. They're all over the world. But that's really the beauty of this, is that you can do it yourself. There's lots and lots of money in sickness care. And think about it. The pharmaceutical companies, they don't make any money unless you're sick. And if you're well and you're healthy, then you're of no interest really to them. So our system is kind of geared to be a sickness-based system, unfortunately. And so there's really no money in releasing emotional baggage for the drug companies. And that's why more people don't know about it.
Well, I think there's for sure that. And then there's a culture of not necessarily taking full responsibility for our health. Exactly. And it just says, well, I'm not feeling well, go get a pill. I'm not feeling well, maybe I'll just go eat a pizza. It's profound to me, I don't know, profound is not the word. It's disheartening that we don't have more people taking advantage of this. So, all right, let's say they pick up the emotional code, and they're picking it up. They say, okay, I'm bringing this home. I'm going to read this. What's the first thing they're going to learn?
Well, the first thing that they're going to learn is about what our bodies really are. Then they're going to learn, which is, of course, the energy.
Yeah. Right.
They're going to learn some of the secrets of the ancient energy healers. And we talk about those. We talk about also how not only do we pick up emotional baggage, but our pets do as well. Animals pick up emotional baggage. There's a whole chapter on animals. This is the most profound and simplest and most effective and efficient healing work that you can do with your animals. It's amazing how well it works. You're also going to find out how you probably have inherited some emotional baggage from one of your parents or both of them that they may have inherited from their parents. And these may go back sometimes many generations. And sometimes releasing some of that inherited emotional baggage from your ancestors who maybe went through pogroms or the Holocaust, or maybe they were slaves, or maybe they went through wars and things. All of our ancestors had difficult lives at some point. We are partly the product of their lives as well. You can find that kind of emotional baggage using the emotion code and release it also. So there's a lot in the emotion code, but it's easy to do.
Well, and I'll tell you this one other little piece that I know because I've done this work, and that is when a person releases their emotions, it is like a generational thing. I don't know if it goes back in time, but it surely goes forward in time. And for instance, I've done a lot of work myself. My daughters, they changed. They just like opposite. They change, right? They don't have to do as much work when we release our stuff. So a lot of information here. All right, listen, I got to take a quick break. I'll come back real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up. But I'll be right back with you in just a sec.
There comes a time when you know you need to restart and regain control of your life. A time to seek freedom from the anxiety, addiction, and other issues that may be bringing you down. A time to heal and re-emerge as the real you. Villa Kalima is a holistic residential recovery program exclusively for women for individualized treatment. Villa Kalima offers proven clinical and holistic therapies for the mind, body, and spirit to assure sustainable recovery. Villa Kalima focuses on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. It's the only way to truly recover and find yourself again. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful, resort-like setting and is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center accepting a variety of health insurances. Start your healing and renewal today by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa, California at 760-814-8214. 760-814-8214. Villa Kalima, a place for transformation.
Hi, Ken D. Foster here. If you have a dream to create a wellness product, I'd like to tell you about JBK Wellness Labs. They are a respected contract and white label manufacturer who helps entrepreneurs and companies develop and bring to market dietary supplements, hemp-based CBD products, plus personal care and beauty product lines. JBK Wellness products can be found on the shelves of Neiman Marcus, Whole Foods, Urban Outfitters, CVS, Ritz-Carlton Hotels, Four Seasons Hotels, and multinational direct selling companies. JBK Wellness Labs will walk you through each step from concept through finished product. If you'd like to take your next step in getting your product to market, then start your project today by going to jbkwellnesslabs.com or just Google JBK Wellness Labs.
Welcome back, everybody. Our show today is the courage to overcome emotional baggage. And my guest right now is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He wrote a book called The Emotion Code. And before I let you go, I had to ask this one question on in the book. In the book, you talk about a heart wall, right? And I just like, oh, heart walls. What are heart walls, and where do they come from?
Well, this is really the most important part of the book. Ancient peoples believed that the heart was the seat of the soul, the source of love and creativity and romance, and really the core of our being. Now, in the West, we've never really given much thought to that idea. We know the heart is just a pump, it pumps blood. But in the last 20 years or so, research is starting to show that the heart actually is much more than the ancients believed it to be. When people get heart transplants, for example, a lot of the time they inherit the memories and affinities and loves of the donor. Sometimes their handwriting will change. And there are whole books written about that. It's called cellular memory. Well, I believe the heart is everything the ancient peoples believed it to be. It's the seat of the soul, the source of love, creativity, romance, and everything else. And all of your best ideas are not up here in your head, they're in your heart. But what happens to us sometimes is that we feel like our heart is going to break. We're going through a divorce, or we're going through some kind of a breakup, or someone close to us has passed away or left, or maybe we're being bullied or what have you. When the heart feels like it's going to break, it's a physical sensation that people feel. And that's where those words heartache and heartbreak actually come from. And they're universal in all languages around the world. Well, when that's going on, because the heart really truly is a second brain. In fact, in studies, they found that when you're feeling love or affection for another person, your heartbeat becomes measurable in that other person's brain waves, and your heart rates will synchronize. There's this energy exchange going on all the time. But when you feel like your heart's going to break, there's a physical sensation there, like there's an elephant sitting on your chest, or like you're choking, you can't breathe. Most people have felt that at some point in their lives. If that happens more than once or twice, the subconscious mind will put up a wall around that heart, and that wall is literally made from layers of your emotional baggage. The layers of those trapped emotional energies will build up into a wall around the heart. And what we have found is that about 93% of people have this phenomenon going on. When that wall is taken down, it's not unusual at all for people to fall in love who never ever thought they would. People have creative ideas that start to flow spontaneously to them. It is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself, not only for your own wealth and love and so on, but also for your physical health. Because what we believe is that the heart is communicating to every cell in the body with every beat. When you have that wall of negative emotions surrounding that wall, it's like your heart's living in a bunker. And it might have been appropriate when you were going through your divorce, or when you were being bullied, or when you were going through whatever difficulty you were going through. But now, to be living the rest of your life with your heart inside this energetic wall of negative emotions is a very, very detrimental thing. And it's all in the book. You can learn how to do this yourself and get rid of your own heart wall.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Dr. Bradley Nelson, thank you so much for being here. The book is The Emotion Code. You can get that. Where do we get this at again?
Well, you can get it on Amazon.com, of course, in any bookstores, Barnes & Noble. It's pretty much everywhere. If you go to emotioncodegift.com, you can try out the first couple of chapters of the book as a PDF and on audio to see if you want to get a copy of it. And that's our gift to you.
All right. Thank you again for being on the show. I hope you'll stay through the end of the show. I'll bring you back to say thank you and ask you one last question at the end. Right now, I'm going to bring on my next guest, though. This is going to be such a cool interview. Listen, Rico Cavegila his chronological age is 78 years old, but his fitness age is 35. He's among America's healthiest trainers in the country. He is the creator of Ageless Living a Lifestyle. He created the Vitality for Life training system, and Be Bold, Never Old Wellness Club, and the Fearless Aging podcast, and on and on and again. He's written 29 books, DVD programs, and he's been a personal trainer and a health coach for 36 years. And he's also a multi-gold and silver medalist in the California State Senior Olympics. He's going. Rico, man, it is so good to have you back on the show, buddy. Good to see you.
So good to see you, Ken. Thanks very much for having me.
Oh, my goodness. You're still running strong, dude, and looking good.
Thank you. You too.
Well, listen, man, what is the ageless living lifestyle? How can my audience go, this is what I want to do, this is how I do it? What is this?
Okay, well, it's a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness system that I've been developing and teaching and living for the past 36 years. And the way I came about it was, I think, maybe like 1999, when I first heard that science was telling us that our genetic potential is to stay healthy to at least 125. And yet, so that could be our life span, but we know our life expectancy is only about 80, right? So I said, well, wait a minute, something's wrong here, So I started doing the research, why are we not being healthier and living longer? And of course, the reason primarily is our unhealthy lifestyles. Our genes played really a small role in really how long we're going to live and how healthy we're going to be. So I decided that I was going to really do the research and really find out what we need to do to make our bodies be able to stay healthier much longer and energetic, so we can live a longer, productive and successful life.
What I love about you, your phrase is, be bold, never be old. So what's your formula for being able to stay young?
Well, the first part, it's all about mindset. Everything is right in our life. It's all starts with in our mindset, what we're thinking about. So that's the first part. You have to buy into the concept that we can stay healthy. Most people, unfortunately, they just buy into the social narrative that, well, that's just the way it is. We're all going to get old and sick and maybe end up in a nursing home. And, and with all that kind of advertising, all that information put out there, that's what people just accept. They just accept it. That's the way it is. So they don't do anything about it. They don't even think that they can. So that's the first step. You have to realize and make up your mind that, hey, I can stay healthy and energetic. Obviously, you're not going to be as we're not going to be as strong and as energetic as when we're 20, but we can stay, plenty healthy and energetic and do what we want to do all of our life. So you got to change your mindset first. Ken, I have to say this. I came up with this idea. We hear so much about fake news, right? Well, the real fake news we have to worry about is that stories that are going on in our own mind telling us what we're limited and what we can't do. That's the fake news we have to look out for, right? So once you realize you're committed that, hey, I'm going to learn how to take care of myself and create a lifestyle that will give me the best opportunity to stay healthy and energetic all my life, then you got to get educated and learn, what you need to do. And these days there's no excuse, right, for not learning how to take care of your health. We're overwhelmed with information about exercise.
I agree with you, Rico. There's no excuses, but I think a lot of people do make excuses, which is why they're not living those that lifestyle. So why do you think aging is an issue in this country?
Well, again, it's unfortunate, that our whole system is set up. It's all about money, right? So that's why our big agribusiness and big food business and pharmaceutical companies, as your previous guest, Dr. Brad talked about, was that's what is put out there. We have all this junk food available. We have all this medicine. So people they just buy into what's available. Well, there's some fast food. I'll just eat it because it's convenient. And if I have a pain or something, I'll just take some drugs. So all these things are really, it's what's controlling their habits. So again, it's about waking up to realize that you have to take control of your health. We don't really have a healthcare system, right? We have a disease care system. They try and take care of you when you get sick. So you have to be able to take the responsibility. Well, as you know, Ken, just like you do, everything in your life, if you want it to be successful, you got to take responsibility for it, and you got to make it happen yourself. So that's the message that we need to get out to people is that you can be a lot healthier and live a lot longer if you take the responsibility to go out and learn what you need to do for you personally, and then commit to doing it on a consistent basis.
Is it too late? Is it too late for people that have abused their bodies to the point where, maybe they're obese, or maybe they're, their body's starting to break down, or maybe they're anorexic? Is it too late for those folks?
Yeah, thanks for that. This is a great question. Absolutely not. I've worked with people in 38 years. I've been working with people, and I've worked with people in their 80s, 90s, 70s. Obviously, we're all individual, and how much you've abused your body, it's going to be a little bit harder. But no matter where you are, you can definitely improve, and you can make a big difference. That's actually, Kim, why I really love my profession is that, when you're in business or any other kind of thing, you go to learn something, you don't really know. It might be the right information, but you don't know how it's going to turn out or work for you. But in this regard, when it comes to your health, when you do the proper exercises and you really change your diet to eat whole, real foods, and you reduce stress and you get more sleep, you're going to get results. You can't fail if you just do it. So that's the great thing about it. No matter where you're at, you can definitely improve.
Yeah. Well, Rico, you came into my life probably 25 years ago. And I remember even at that time, you had a huge following here in San Diego because people wanted to understand how to use their minds in such a way that they could really create really kind of, my goal, I think, even after meeting you years ago, was to live pain-free. Okay. And that's how I do. I notice what's going on in my body. I realize that, pain is optional, right? For most things we can heal. I haven't found anything I haven't been able to heal yet. I'm still working on it.
It's a process for sure.
You've been doing this a long time. It's my point. And, so what would you say some of the real benefits of living ageless are outside of maybe living pain-free? That's my goal.
Well, I think the real benefits, and again, that's such a good question. I think so many people, I always feel sad when I see people that are really bent over and walking real slowly and they can't move and are going through all these things because they could be doing so many people live their whole life and never knows what it means to be really fit and energetic, right? And I think, so the big benefit is everybody wants to be successful, right? And be happy and enjoy your life and feel fulfilled. But if you're dealing with all kind of health issues and you're not very strong or energetic or, like I say, have a lot of pain, how successful can you be in any aspect of your life? So no matter what's important to you in your life and what you want to experience or to enjoy or to achieve, if you have a strong, healthy, energetic body, then you're able to really do what you need to do. But if you don't, it's going to be really difficult to be successful in any aspect of your life.
All right, here's the question that I've been waiting to ask you, man. I know my audience is waiting to hear. Give me your tips for anti-growing old. I don't know what we call that. Anti-aging tips, okay? What are the most important anti-aging tips that my audience needs to know?
Well, that's the very first one. You got to change your mindset. First of all, you got to believe that you can stay healthy and that you can be energetic and productive all of your life. And then the next thing is you've really got to get educated and to know what your particular body, what you really need. So I always recommend that, if at all possible, consult with a naturopathic doctor or a good nutritionist and all that, so they can actually evaluate you, so you know really what foods are really particularly best for you. And then also, consult with a qualified personal trainer, so you'll actually be doing the exercises that are going to benefit you personally and what you want to achieve in your life. So that's getting educated, and then you just got. It's not about going to boot camp, or it's not about beating yourself up. You don't have to be a triathlete, right? You don't have to all those things. You just got to be consistent and move your body on a basis. That's the biggest thing. Is just move on it. You've heard the saying that sitting is the new smoking. We all sit way too much, and that's so many harmful things. So you got to move your body on a daily basis. You've got to get really good whole foods that are right for you and your body. Okay, so you change your mindset, you get evaluated, you get the right foods and exercise, and sleep is so important. It's so important to get the right amount of sleep. But but the biggest one of all, my favorite one of all, is you got to have fun. You got to enjoy your life. That's the biggest one. Real quickly, I want to say that many years ago, they did a big study on centenarians who lived to be 100 and still were pretty healthy and alive. And so they asked them what was their biggest reason that they felt that they lived that long. And almost 90% of them said, hey, I enjoyed my life. I wasn't stressed out. That's the biggest thing, is have fun, be happy, smile more. That's the best one.
I think there's a lot of study around being happy. And,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
today, where we are in our society, especially today, happens to be, election day. And, a lot of people are not necessarily
Yeah, I'm
being
not too
happy.
happy about it.
Yeah, yeah. Some people are. Some people are, but
Yeah, I know.
it's more about being even-minded, isn't it? So let me
Yeah.
ask you one last question. Then I want to bring Dr. Brad back on. I want to ask you, how people can learn about Ageless Living lifestyle and connect with you, Rico.
Okay. Well, I would highly recommend they go to my online wellness club. It's at beboldneverbeold.com. And there you can get a free ebook. You can sign up and get a free ebook. That's what it's all about. It gets you the top 10 anti-aging tips, so you can get started. So that's at beboldneverbeold.com. And I would like to mention that we're doing a new ageless body self-care guide. It's actually the operations manual for the human body, and that's going to be live pretty soon. And that's at yourselfguide.com. So I'd like to have people go there and check that out, because we're going to be offering some amazing experts, including you, Ken, all about how to take the best possible care of your body and your mind and your spirit.
Well, what I love about that, I went there yesterday. You just showed that to me. And I have to tell you, you have some of the top speakers in the world on that platform to really help people to heal in any area and grow. It's not just about healing. It's about growing, evolving, becoming the best version of yourself. And you've got the
Absolutely.
top people in the nation out there doing that. So congratulations on that, Rico.
Thank you so much.
That's really great. All right, listen, I got to take a break. Stay tuned, though. I'm going to bring Dr. Brad and Rico back. I've got one question that I want to ask both of them. And when they answer it, it will help you to change your focus, your thinking, and where you are in this world. We'll be right back.
Good.
Hey, Ken D. Foster here. Listen, this has been an incredible show, and all of our shows are incredible thanks to a lot of the folks that put in a lot of hard work on these shows, and a couple of networks that have really done a great job for me. I'd like to just give them a shout out. One is UK Health Radio. They're in the UK, and they have about 1 million listeners a month now. I've been with Johan since he basically started that show. And that show is just growing like crazy. If you want to get great health information from a different source outside of the local news or the national news here in the United States, go to ukhealthradio.com and check them out. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to talkradio.New York City, talkradio.NYC. My buddy Sam over there has also grown his platform, and he's got a show that is aligned with mine. You're helping people to solve problems, to uplift their spirit, become the best version of themselves. So check him out, will you? And the last one is BBS Radio. Listen, these guys were the first network I was on. They helped me become number one in ranking in Google. These guys are great. Doug and Don are the owners, and they really do a great job. So they have shows on that BBS Radio that will blow your mind. They're talking everything about aliens to Elon Musk, right, and everything in between. So I hope you'll connect with them. They also have, of course, health and vitality and lots of good things that'll help you grow yourself. So hope you'll check them out, bbsradio.com. Also, again, I want to thank you for joining me at Voices of Courage. Our Insiders Club, you should really check that out. Go to voicesofcourage.us. And when you sign up for our Insiders Club, you're going to have exclusive access to the after show videos, the guest gifts, and information that'll take your life to the next level. So go to voicesofcourage.us, voicesofcourage.us. Okay, I'm going to bring my guest back, this amazing show, and we're calling the Courage to Overcome Emotional Baggage. Well, these two have overcome their emotional baggage. They wouldn't be here, but doesn't mean that things keep coming up. But listen, I have a question for both of you. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Brad. What is your message right now to the world at this we're at a cross point in our world, what's your message to the world?
Well, the world is in a transformational process right now, and we're experiencing the effects of that. There's a new world that's coming, and it's going to be, I think, unimaginably great. But to get there, there's a lot of healing that has to take place. We can't get there without bringing along our animals, bringing along our ancestors as well, and without getting rid of our own emotional baggage so that we can be better instruments for that higher power. When people get rid of enough of their emotional baggage, many times they will feel like they're more connected to that higher power, to God, source energy, whatever you want to call it. And we have a simple way now that anyone can learn to start getting rid of your emotional baggage, start cleaning your emotional closet out, that emotional closet that exists in every single one of us, right? And getting rid of all that baggage and becoming lighter and feeling better. So that's the message. This is really something that has come, I believe, from up above through me, and I'm just here to take it to the world. But the time is now. It's time to start getting rid of that baggage, because there's a new world coming, and we gotta create it.
I love that. Rico, how about you? I'm going to ask you the same question. What's your message to the world right now, my friend?
Yeah, my big message is that, we're all aware of the monumental challenges that we're facing as humanity on Earth. So we need everybody to step their game up. We need you to be healthy and energetic and clear those emotions, like Dr. Brad said, so you can give back your knowledge and wisdom and help to create the world that we know that we can have. There's no reason that we have to stay stuck in this place where we're still killing each other and fighting and all these things. It's ridiculous, right? So we need everybody to step up in their game so they can go out there and make a big difference in the world.
I love that. Well, listen, I want to thank both of you for being part of this show today. You've enriched my life, and I know you've enriched some of my audience's life. Hope to have you both back on next year on the show, so we can do that. All right, my message to the world. Well, I'm going to tell you my message. I want you to save the date. Is December 5th, and this is the launch of my latest book out there. We're going to do an official launch. We're going to I'm going to help you connect with some of the thought leaders in the world and business leaders in the world. I'm going to help you connect or collaborate with them. I'm also going to help. You're going to help me celebrate this victory of getting this book in the world. This book took me about 6 years to write, and we postponed the marketing that we were kicking off in earlier this year until now. So I hope you'll join me. I'd love to have Rico and Dr. Brad there, maybe as a special guest. So we'll be talking with them. But this is a time for you to come and, like Rico said, increase your energy, let go, like Dr. Brad said, let go of your baggage and step into the power that is you. So come into the collective group. Again, it's December 5th. You can check out the group at couragetochange.us, couragetochange.us. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you continue to look for and see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible.